Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked on to the point with Skip and the King. We're socially distancing because there's a lot of things going on right now in this world. Skip, I gotta ask you, who's the best defensive player of the year? Is it Rudy Gobert or is it the coronavirus? Because let me tell you, Kobe would have been in a hazmat suit going at it. But all jokes aside, let's get away from that. There's been a few players in the NBA that have been diagnosed, and it's very serious. This whole epidemic is very serious. Thank goodness that Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell have been cleared for it, which is a really good thing. But guys, you guys out there, let's stay 2 meters away. Let's stay 6 feet away. Let's take care of this, and let's make sure everything goes down good. The problem is with the whole Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz playing against the Toronto Raptors the last day. Oh, it's been too long. Okay. Thankfully, none of our Toronto Raptors have tested positive for the coronavirus, and let's keep it that way. And everybody in here in Toronto, this is a real big problem. Let's stay away from each other. Let's keep it 2 meters. Let's take care of each other at this point in time. Let's take care of the elderly that are around us. Let's take care of each other. And Skip, I gotta ask you, what does it have to do for your Toronto Raptors?
I think the question isn't how it affects the Raptors. I think the question is really how it affects all of us. Basketball is such a forgotten thing at this point. It's so incidental compared to everything else that's going on in the world. And we got to keep in mind that even though the Raptors tested negative when they were tested a couple weeks ago, this thing is ongoing. People are still getting sick. People are sick who don't know they're sick. And it could still pass through the Raptors. The real thing here is we don't know. We don't know what's coming next. We don't know when the basketball season is going to get back on track. We're just kind of playing it by ear. And I know I haven't had the Raptors to watch. It means I've been watching a lot more Netflix. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Sports are what sort of distract us from the real world, but right now the real world is taking precedence, and there's the fact that there's no sports. I think that was the day that they suspended the NBA season was the day that I sat up and I said, this is serious, this is real, this is scary, this is terrifying. And I think that goes for a lot of you guys out there. I think a lot of you guys really, this only hit home the second that it affected our lives directly. And for me, that was when the NBA stopped playing games. So I don't know what this means for the Raptors going forward. I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm not even concerned about the Raptors. It's great that we're champs. We're and it's looking more and more like the curse of Toronto strikes again, where the Leafs won the cup, and then the next year the cup was canceled because of the Spanish flu back in 1919. The Jays won the World Series. The 94 World Series was canceled because of the players' strike. And then the Raps win the NBA title, and boom, another flu pandemic, another potential NBA Finals canceled. So honestly, everyone just keep safe, keep to yourselves, and don't worry too much about basketball. Basketball's a distraction. Basketball's what we go to when we want just to not think about all the struggles that are going on in the world. But we just have to. This is real now. I went outside today and I saw the basketball court down by the park. Up till yesterday, there were still people playing, but today it's taped off. Caution tape everywhere. So if people aren't taking it seriously now, I don't know when they ever will. So just stay home, be safe. That's all there really is to it.
Great public service announcement from Skipper. Guys, I hope everyone's staying safe. Your Toronto Raptors, Skip, OG went to Longo's the other night and got booked. Anyway, but it's not funny. It's like these are the sign of the times, and these are things that we have to deal with, and this is the things that the NBA has to deal with. Like, I love what you said about them being on the sidelines. Like, this is just a distraction, and this is what we have to deal with. But we are dealing with it as human beings. Skip, did you see? You type in Corona on Google Translation in Hebrew, it comes up, and then when you reverse it, it comes up as Kobe. Maybe Kobe had to tell us something. I don't know, but Skip, do you honestly think that they're gonna let your Toronto Raptors stay the champs for this season? Like, especially after you beautifully touched on it about the Maple Leafs in 1967 and how they won the championship and it stopped. Then the Jays won the championship and it stopped. And then now Toronto, the Raptors, it stopped. How do you feel about going forward? Do you think the NBA and the American media and that whole bias is going to let your Toronto Raptors keep the chip? Gotta ask you that, man. Talk to me about this, baby.
I think that by all indications, the NBA really, really, really wants to get the season started and play out the playoffs, no matter how late that takes them into the summer or whatever. I've even heard talk that they might play through Labor Day, the finals. But at a certain point, it just doesn't become feasible. They're already talking about moving the whole season back and starting the season in December, and just changing the months that NBA runs, basically. Instead of October to June, it would be December to August. And they're talking about this whole crisis as being a trigger point to make that shift. Personally, I don't think they should make that shift anyway, because I'm a baseball fan and I like basketball right where it is with the baseball schedule. But I like the way that it bleeds in, you know, like you can shift from one to the next. If they move it later, then the season will start 2 months after baseball ends. Anyway, so there's been a lot of talk about how they're really going to do everything they can to push the season back to just get this season in. But it's tough because, let's be real, are there going to be fans at any of the playoff games? Probably not. Even if things get a little bit stabilized in the next couple of months, you're still talking about playing the playoffs with no fans. And can you imagine, say the Bucks, I mean, it sucks for the Bucks because this is their year. Say the Bucks win the title this year with no fans in the stadium, and they have to celebrate with no fans. Like, that will go down in history as the weirdest title ever. It's going to be like eerie almost. And I don't know. Is that worth it? Like, obviously, you love to give them their shot, but it would almost feel like not a real title because it would just be such a different atmosphere. And realistically, I don't know what the NBA can do. There's so much else going on in the world that they're just not a priority right now. And yes, there's lots of money at stake, but there's lots of money at stake for everybody. I just lost my job today, and it's happening to people everywhere. Businesses are crashing, the economy's crashing, people are losing their jobs, and the NBA is just a very public example of that. Now, obviously, the NBA will get back on their feet. They will still play basketball at some point, I assume, but I don't know if it's going to be this summer. And at a certain point, you just have to start pack it in and get ready for next season. But we're still in the early stages of this epidemic. We don't know. Obviously, the people in the States have seen it much more up close and personal than us up in Canada, but I just don't think there's no end in sight right now. There's no moment. There's no clear way that the NBA can get back to business as usual. And like I said, even if they do have the playoffs with no fans in the stands, is that going to feel like the playoffs? It's going to feel like watching a high school team. It'd just be very strange. So, yeah, in conclusion, I don't really. I'm starting to think that the season will be canceled. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope there's some way to salvage it, but I just don't know. And it sucks for the Raptors too, because they're defending their title. They have a fighting chance this year, but that's just, it's so not what's in the cards, not what's in the minds of people right now. Basketball's so small right now. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it. So I'll throw it back to you, Brian, and see what else you got to say.
Skipper, man, I'm telling you, this is hitting us, all of us, really hard. Like, you lost it today, so did I, and we both work the same job. Like, everybody's in a bind. Let's hope this NBA season can continue. Let's hope we have some entertainment. Let's hope we have something that we can see, something that we can enjoy, something out there for us. You get what I mean, Skipper? I love what you said, bro. I nobody else could have said it better than you. Okay, to be quite honest. So, on behalf of myself and the Skipper, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.